Welcome to Sapience Learning, your gateway to book summaries.
Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. Imagine trying to answer the biggest, most uncomfortable question in human history. Why did some societies develop writing, technology, and empires, while others did not? Jared Diamond's conclusion is both simple and revolutionary. History followed different courses for different peoples because of differences among people's environments, not biological differences among people themselves. This is the heart of Guns, Germs, and Steel, a book that blends anthropology, biology, geography, and sociology, to show how the world we live in was shaped not by intelligence or race, but by environmental luck. Here are the three major lessons. Lesson 1. Mesopotamia was the first cradle of agriculture. Human beings began in Africa, but survival forced them outward, across continents, chasing food, water, and safety. Then, roughly 11,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened. In the region we call Mesopotamia, present-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. People stopped wandering. They began planting seeds, domesticating animals, growing food purposefully, not accidentally. Agriculture brought stability, which brought better nutrition, stronger bodies, healthier brains, and more time for innovation. But it also brought something else: germs. Living close to animals exposed early farmers to new diseases. Waves of sickness spread, and the survivors passed their immunity to their children. Over thousands of years, this created populations far more resistant to disease than hunter-gatherers living elsewhere. Agriculture didn't just feed the first large societies, it helped shape their biology, and it set the stage for everything that came next. Lesson 2. Agriculture sparked the rise of culture, writing, and language. Once societies produced more food than they could eat, they needed a way to organize labor, track harvests, plan seasons, and share knowledge. So they invented something the world had never seen: record keeping. And from record keeping came the first forms of written language, again, in Mesopotamia. As writing evolved, people could communicate ideas beyond crops and harvests. Stories formed. Beliefs spread, culture expanded. And something interesting happened. Information tended to flow east to west, not north to south. Why? Because regions aligned east-west share similar climates, seasons, and daylight. That made it easy for crops, tools, and ideas to spread across Eurasia, but hard for them to travel into tropical or polar zones. With more food, more time, and more cultural exchange, farming societies grew more complex faster than hunter-gatherer groups elsewhere. Lesson 3. Societies evolved differently because of geography, not biology. The world loves simple, harmful myths. Some people are smarter. Some cultures are naturally superior. Diamond dismantles all of this. When you look at history closely, the truth becomes clear. Societies with rich natural resources, fertile land, domesticable animals, accessible rivers, mild climates, and workable metals, simply had advantages others did not. These environmental boosts allowed them to grow more food, support larger populations, build armies, develop technology, and resist disease. Meanwhile, regions with droughts, steep terrain, poor soil, or isolation had fewer opportunities to grow in the same way. Not because the people were less intelligent, but because their environment offered fewer tools. Human destiny, in Diamond's view, is shaped by geographic luck, not inherent superiority. So who should read Guns, Germs, and Steel? The 27-year-old fascinated by how civilizations rise, the 45-year-old historian who loves challenging old assumptions, the 38-year-old curious about how geography sculpted human evolution. Because this book doesn't just explain history, it reframes it. It shows that the story of humanity is the story of environment, adaptation, and chance. And understanding that helps us finally let go of the myths that held us back for far too long.
We hope this book summary brought you joy and moments of reflection. Happy learning from Team Sapiens.